Hey, everybody, school's in session. You're here at the Yellowhammer Football Podcast. I am the Colonel. He is Catfish. And, guys, we're going to talk a little high school football. What's going on, buddy?
What up, brother?
Wonderful day.
Good rainy day.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it. Let's go week 4 recap. Starting off, we had Phillips going up against Cherokee, putting it on them 50-14.
I'm kind of interested to see where Phillips is when they play an opponent that's kind of equal to their level, because they've started off here, I believe 3-0, and each one of them's been major big time wins for them as far as point score goes, or the differential between them and the opponent. 50-14. Cherokee actually scored this time. I don't think they scored the first 3 weeks. So
right, yeah.
They got 14 right here. So I guess that's a win in their book. But shout out to Phillips for.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Shout out to Phillips, Bear Creek for starting off strong.
Oh, yeah. 3-0 now. It's either 2-0 or 3-0. I can't remember.
I think it's 3.
Yeah.
Holy Spirit coming up against Marion County. Holy Spirit getting shut out 0-52.
Yeah. Marion County's been strong ever since the Lynn week. They've actually had 2 straight shutouts, so they're on a roll right now. I believe Lynn plays Holy Spirit next week. So, but yeah, good job from Marion County right there.
Yeah. Congratulations to Marion County. Had Hamilton coming up against Oak Grove. Hamilton going down 14-27.
Yeah, it's a long trip for them down there to Oak Grove. It's it's just out there. I mean, You don't really know where it's at, but it was a hard fought game for them. It was close there for a while, and they weren't able to pull it out. And we'll see where they're at when they play. I believe it's Cordova next week. I believe it's Cordova.
Well, it's relatively close. They didn't get blowed out, so that's a positive,
Yeah.
So,
that's always a good thing.
Yeah,
hey, we scored, man.
always a good thing. Need to, keep it under 3 touchdowns,
Yeah.
Right here we had Shoals Christian going up against Vina, winning the game 44-16.
Yeah, Shoals Christian, they started off strong. Well, no, they didn't start off strong. They got beat by Tharptown. But, they've been beat pretty handily by any opponent they faced until this week. But Vina's in the same boat with Shoals Christian. But, Vina had this at home. You would have thought they'd been a little bit more competitive in this one. But that's a hard loss right there.
Yeah, that one's got to hurt, especially at home. Hopefully they can use that as ammunition, fuel to have a better time next week. We had Red Bay coming up with a surprise for me, beating Sheffield 50-39.
Red Bay started off strong with that win against Hamilton, and then they kind of fell off there for a second. But to go to Sheffield and beat them like that, it's not very often that they are able to do that, and it's just a good win for the program, especially on the road.
Yep, no doubt. We had Tharptown going up against Hatton, coming out with no points, 0-52. Hatton wins.
Yeah, I kind of mentioned a little bit earlier in this episode that Tharptown beat Shoals Christian pretty handily first week, but ever since then they've kind of struggled to score the football, and it shows right here when they went on the road.
Yeah, and Hatton's going to be a tough place, I'm sure. Especially for Tharptown. So
yeah.
Then we had Phil Campbell coming up short against Colbert County, 22-25. They kept it close. It's a hard place to play. First loss of the season.
This one kind of tugged at the heartstrings for
yep.
you and me. For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it was sad. They led at one point, like what, didn't they? At one point, they actually.
I'm not real sure.
I want to say they led at one point in the game, and it came down to the end, and Colbert County, unfortunately, edged them out. But I mean, 3-1. That's if you can't be 4-0, it's the best record. Other than that,
Right.
it's 3-1. So it's a good year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a bad loss. I think Colbert County's a good team. So we just got to look on to the next one.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
So had Russellville playing West Point, ended up winning 27-0.
Yeah, to go into Coleman County and play against they're a pretty good program. West Point, they're always pretty successful, and like I said, us over here, we're cornbread fed boys. Them are city boys over there.
Yep.
But they're tough. They're tough. They're so tough. And for Russellville to go in there and shut them out at their house, it's a good win for that program and a good rebound from where they've been here lately.
Yeah, like you said, a great win. Probably a real tough place to play. I mean, Coleman's a little bit of a drive, Coleman County anyway, from Russellville. So, congratulations to the Tigers, man. Then we had Winston County going up against Sulligent in a low-scoring game. Winston County coming up short, 8-12.
This is like Phil Campbell, another one that tugged at the heartstrings. Is both of them were undefeated, and both of them came up just a little short. It wasn't even like it was short.
Yep.
And to lose that close after being 3-0 and starting out strong, it's hard to do. But you hope Winston County can rebound here this next week.
Yeah, and they probably will. I would have loved to have been at this game, 8-12. It had to be good.
And Sulligent's pretty rad out there. I mean, that would have been a good environment.
Yep. Then we had Dora going up against Haleyville, coming out on the winning end, 21-12.
Haleyville was the score kind of looks close, but they were never in this ball game. Dora dominated this one, and it sucks being a homer and taking a loss like this, but they got a great win last week against Cordova. And Cordova, from what I've seen and what I've heard from all their ball games, it's been close, even if they come out on the losing end. So for Haleyville to do that and then get Dora at home as well and not even compete, it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad to hear.
Yeah, for sure. Then we had Fayette County going against Carbon Hill, 59-8. Fayette County with the win.
Oh man, I'm a big fan of Carbon Hill. I'm a big fan of Mark Cochran and the bunch he's got around him and what all they got down there. And for them to be sitting here 0-3 now and their third loss being of that kind of magnitude against Fayette County, it's hard to realize that this is where they are right now.
Yeah,
and you hate to see it because they're a better program. It's just they're having too many self-inflicted mistakes and not getting out of their own way more times than not. And you wonder if they'll ever get it together right here at 0-3.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough hill to climb the rest of the season for them. And 59-8 is bad anytime. It's really bad when it's at home. So we had Oakman going up against Tarrant. Oakman coming out with a win, 39-8.
Yeah, I want to say it was Tarrant to beat Red Bay last week. I believe. I believe it was. So for Oakman Oakman's had their losses too, but they won last week and then they got it done again Friday night, and actually they played Thursday, so they got it done Thursday. They got it done Thursday night on the road, and 39-8. That's a pretty lopsided affair out there. So they
for sure.
To them.
Yeah, they sure did. And then we had Corner going against Cordova. This one went to overtime, man, 27-26.
I was here for this one.
It had to be great. To be great.
It's been a couple years since I had been to a Cordova game there. Haleyville played them a couple years back, and I went to watch one of my cousins. And honestly, I forgot how loud this stadium was. It's just in a canyon pretty much, but it's a holler. And they've got the Wayside band going perpendicular with the field. And then parallel, you still got home side of Wayside. And then they got this little stretch of field where all the youngsters play, get rowdy. But honestly, man, they had fireworks before the game. It was a great night for football, and I'm glad they did it on Thursday night. And it was a pretty close game. Like right at first, the way the offenses were moving the ball, you thought it was going to be a barn burner. And it was long drives, real long drives, but they were forced to punt, or there was a couple turnovers. But for it to get 20-20 all right there towards the end, and neither one of them could stuff another one in for a touchdown to win it, and then going into overtime, and Corner scored in 2 plays. Cordova scored in 3. Cordova went for 2. And I mean, the whole stadium could feel it. Corner got the ball first in overtime. They scored. Then Cordova got the ball. So we all wanted a 2-point conversion. So I don't think anybody's mad at that. And I don't think anybody could have held their head. Everybody has to have been able to leave that ball game holding their head high, just because it was a beautiful ball game by both teams. It was great. I mean, it was perfect.
Right. And, like I said about one of the games earlier, this is a game I would have loved to have been at, because I think, like you said, the atmosphere would have been electric.
Yeah.
And like you said, both teams, have to be able to hold their heads high, because, Corner won, but Cordova was right there, and it probably could have went either way.
Yeah.
But that was just it just seemed to me like that was probably the game of the week.
I believe it had to be in North Alabama. I mean, not just our regions. I mean, it was phenomenal.
Then we had Northside going against Curry. Northside winning 40-0.
Yeah, Northside's one of them programs. When they're good, they're dang good, and when they're bad, they're pretty awful.
Yeah,
there's no like in between. Northside did take it to Curry. Curry got that win against Berry, and then they responded by getting pretty beat up against Dora, and then get Northside at home, and then do this. It's hard to get that first win, especially after 4 years, and then lose 2 back to back like this. But it's still a prideful season because you got that W, and so we'll see if they can start competing more in these next few games.
Right. Then we had Jasper coming up against Fairfield, winning 34-26.
Yeah, I ain't gonna say, I'm not gonna say it shocked me, because Jasper's quarterback's back, but to go up to Fairfield, that's a hard ask. I mean, that's a pretty dangerous area to be at. It don't matter if you're playing football or just walking down the street.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
So I mean, it's intimidating to say that. So them going in, getting Spencer back, going in to Fairfield, down to Fairfield, and beating them. That was a great win, and you hope the season's turned around now. We'll see what Philip Bailey and them Jasper Vikings do here on out.
Well, I think it was a much needed win. I think they needed this one, and
for sure
they went down there and got it. So good for them.
Because their last time down to Birmingham was at Legion Field, and Ramsey poured it on them.
Right. Then we had one of the games of the week. We had Hackleburg going to Addison and coming up short, 14-26.
It was a pretty good ball game all the way through. I think that we selected 2 of the better games of the week.
Yeah.
And the week before last, you selected Haleyville Cordova, and it went to
overtime.
It's an onside kick. Yeah,
that's right. At
the end, but we're getting pretty good at this.
I know. It's like we know what we're doing.
But it was a good ball game. The the 2-score lead for Addison is kind of misleading because it's just pretty close there for a while.
Yeah, and we've got some pictures from this game we'll show here in a minute. And then we had Lynn playing against Sumiton Christian and coming up with a win, 37-0.
Yeah, Lynn controlled this ball game all the way through. I mean, they dominated this one, and I had a lot of other people tell me. Granted, I didn't realize how bad this game of the week was when I said that just a second ago. I had forgot. So yeah, I'm happy for Lynn. I had a couple other people tell me that they thought this would be a pretty close ball game, and the fact that Lynn got out to an early lead and just increased it and kept it and shut them out at their field, it was a great win for Lynn to respond from getting dominated by ACA, who is a 4A private school.
Yeah.
To come back and do this on the road, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, you'd love to see it. That's for sure. 37-0. Can't complain about that. Then we got some pictures here. Again, this is from the Addison Hackleburg game. Our Loaded Sports Network co-host on some other shows, Wayne, sent this to me from somebody he knows. And as soon as I get his name, we'll make sure we start announcing that too. But, here's some shots from that game.
Yeah, our jerseys wasn't that fresh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Some really good shots of this game for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He did good.
Yeah, some good stuff right there.
See, I was wondering if the quarterback for Addison was the same guy as last year because I'd been hearing a different story, but
yeah.
it looks to be just like him. And I mean, that's a Tim Tebow and a shorter body.
Yeah.
He's pretty damn good.
Yeah. Well, that, Addison, we talked about it at the beginning, talked about them at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And, we expect them to have a good year.
No doubt. Yeah.
But, guys, we're going to take a short little commercial break, and we'll be right back with the preview of Week 5. Hey, everybody, it's Coach and Colonel here from the Spring Loaded Football Podcast, taking a short break from your podcast. We wanted to tell you about Spring Loaded Football, where each and every Friday we talk about Spring League sports, USFL, XFL, X League, fan control football, guys. We got it all. Coach, what you got to say?
Hey, y'all check us out. Like it, love it, and everything. We talk about a lot of stuff on here. We try to keep it quick and simple, and we talk about everything. Even some things like kickers.
That's right. Check it out, springloadedfootball.com. Now back to the show. All right, guys, welcome back to the Yellowhammer Football Podcast. Again, I'm the Colonel. He is Catfish, and you just enjoyed a nice commercial break. And we're going to talk a little Week 5, looking ahead. And first game on the list, we got Hackleburg going to Red Bay.
Yeah. You kind of see that where Hackleburg was last week in the loss to Addison and Red Bay beating Tanner. Well, no, Red Bay didn't beat Tanner. Red Bay beat who was it? Do you remember?
We just talked about it. I can't remember.
Yeah. We may need to cut this part out. But anyways, yeah. They came out on the winning side.
I'm looking.
Yeah.
Sheffield. They beat Sheffield.
Yeah. Man.
5 minutes. Yeah. I'm done talking about it. We can't remember.
Oh, yeah, man. So Red Bay beating Sheffield, you kind of think that they're going to be on cloud 9 by Friday when this game tees off. And I think that they'll at least get 2 to 3 touchdowns as far as 2 to 3 touchdowns more than Hackleburg.
Yeah, I'm the same way. They're going to be motivated after beating Sheffield. I remembered it this time, we just talked about it 30 seconds ago.
Oh, man, yeah.
But I think they're going to be motivated. I think you're looking at like you said, a 2 to 3 touchdown lead at the end. So
I had some rainy days, man.
Coming up next, we got Meek going to Phillips, which is Bear Creek. What a game this is going to be.
This has got to be the game of the week for Daily Mountain Eagle.
Yeah.
I definitely know that. And this should have been the game of the week for us. We might need to add that to the game, make it games of the week.
We'll fix it next week.
Yeah.
We'll put it in there.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, Cameron Deaver against some Phillips Bears. They're undefeated right now at Glass Stadium, man. This is gonna be a dang good ball game, and on the Bear Creek Lake, there shouldn't be better football than this one right here.
Yeah, the stadium's gonna be packed. You know, we've been talking about Meek all year too, and like you said, with Phillips coming in undefeated, this will be a test of what they really are. So
yeah, I mean. Ooh, Tigers and Bears, man.
I know
it'll come out on top.
Then we got Barry Fayette going to Marion County.
Yeah. I definitely believe that Marion County is going to at least, if not get 2 touchdowns more, I would say about a 4 touchdown win. Right?
Yeah, I'm thinking Marion County by a lot.
Yeah.
So,
Tom Madison's going to be throwing it all over the field for sure.
Nothing against Barry, but that's just the way it is. Got Brilliant going up against Sumiton Christian.
Well, Sumiton Christian got shut out last week by Lynn at home.
Yep.
They've got Brilliant here at home, but Brilliant has failed to score in, I think, just about every one of their ball games. So, I'm not saying this is a low-scoring ball game by any means. Whoever wins may win by a couple touchdowns or whatever, but I will say that I got Sumiton Christian just because it's at home.
Yeah, I think it's a toss-up, and like you, I'm going to pick Sumiton Christian just because it's at home. Then we have Midfield going against Winfield. So,
yeah. Who you play in the field in this?
Yeah, I don't know. Trying to think all the puns we can say.
Yeah.
I think you probably go Winfield on this one.
It's at home. Winfield's pretty tough. The only game that they've really had any struggles in is Gordo, and they only lost it by a touchdown. So I do think Winfield gets this done at home.
Yeah. Got Cordova going to Hamilton in what should be a pretty good game, I think.
Hamilton, they've had 3 losses on the season already, I believe.
Yeah.
If not, I know 2. So they get this one at home. Cordova's had 3 tough losses. They lost the very first week to Fayette on the last-minute drive. They lost at Haleyville because of an onside kick, but they had the lead. I think it was a 3-touchdown lead on Haleyville.
Yeah.
And then they lost this past week to Corner in overtime.
I know. Crazy.
So they've got a knack for close ball games. So I'm going to call a close one since it's on the road, and we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, I'm going to say close. I agree with that. I'm going to take Cordova. I think they'll pull it out.
I'll take Cordova on the W right here, though.
You got Vina going against Woodville.
Yeah. Vina, I got pretty beat up on by Shoals Christian last week. So,
yep.
And they've been pretty beat up on by anybody. So
that's true. And they're on the road. So
and they're playing against somebody named Wood.
Right. Which might get laid. It might get laid to them,
Yeah,
so.
No doubt. Oh yeah. So I'm gonna go with Woodville on this one, no doubt.
Yep, I think Woodville big.
Yeah.
Got Tharptown playing against Lexington. Sorry, I got myself on that one. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Lexington right here. They dominated last week. So they come up against Tharptown. in Tharptown. They had that first week win against Shoals Christian, beat them pretty good, and then lost to Bear Creek the next week.
Yeah.
And I think they're actually winless since then. So, and them going to Lexington, I think Lexington gets this done. I don't think it's going to be a shutout, but I think it'll be Lexington pretty good.
Yeah, I think the same way. Going to there, we were so high on Tharptown after week 1, and they just haven't delivered since then. And I think that streak continues. I think Lexington wins, and probably pretty big.
Yeah.
Got East Limestone coming to Russellville.
Yeah. Russell got that W, much needed W last week, and it was a whole team effort. So them being at home right here, them coming off that good win, I do believe they get it done against East Limestone right here.
Yeah, I mean, you're at home. I think they going to have the stadium, rocking. I think Russellville does pull this one out.
Yeah.
Got Waterloo going to Addison.
Yeah.
I think Addison's got it.
You do?
Yeah, I think so.
But how many points?
At least 3 touchdowns.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking so too, because Waterloo was pretty stout there for a couple of weeks, and then Meek went up there and beat them, and I believe they got beat last week too. So
yeah.
Going on the road here to going to Winston County to play Addison, it's not a small task. It's a hard ask for sure. So I really don't think Waterloo can do it. I think Addison by at least 2 or 3 touchdowns, no doubt.
Yeah, like you said, man, long trip, playing against a team on a roll, just coming off a win. I think Addison's got this one pretty easy. I'm probably wrong, but that's just my thinking now. So,
dude, I'm with you. I think Addison have it.
Next up, we got Lynn going against Holy Spirit.
What's your call?
Lynn.
Lynn, yeah.
By whatever they want it to be, probably. So.
Oh, dude, no doubt, yeah.
That's nothing against the players and coaches at Holy Spirit. I think they play hard and try hard.
Yeah.
There's just some things you can't help.
They're missing a little father inside.
yeah. That's right.
I'm just saying they got waxed last week. Lynn beat Sumiton Christian 37-0. So we're just going off of that.
Yeah, we're just calling it like we see it, guys. Lynn's on a roll, and I don't think they're going to get off of it. So, got Winston County going against Greene County.
Ooh, this is tough. First off, it's a good trip down there. You gotta go through Tuscaloosa for sure. So, I would say Winston County. They had that tough loss last week.
Yeah.
But I believe Winston County will at least compete, if not win this ball game. So I'm going to go with a close one, and I'm going to go our boys.
Yeah, I agree with you. Winston County, close. I think the game will be close. Maybe, 2 or 3 points deciding this one. Yeah. Got Haleyville going to North Side.
They lost the Dora last week. Haleyville did.
Yeah.
And it was by more than a touchdown, but not too much more. But they were never really competitive in that ball game. It was a hard loss, and especially after winning in overtime to Cordova, same place. But to go on the road against a Northside team that just got a tune-up game against Curry, it seemed like with the score to that ball game,
right?
You would think Northside would have this one. So I'm going to say Haleyville's got a little bit more fight to them, maybe than Curry does. But we'll see.
I don't believe it'll be 40-0 like they were against Curry.
Yeah.
If Haleyville wins, it will be close.
Yeah.
So then we have Curry going against Oak Grove.
Yeah. Hamilton made this trip last week. Went from Marion County all the way to Oak Grove. and it's just it's a hard trip. That's all I can say about it. It just wears you out. And Curry going from playing north side last week and getting blown out of their field and having to go all the way to Oak Grove, it's going to be a hard ask. I'm going to call that they score more than 0 points. I'm going to call it a couple touchdowns at least, but I think Oak Grove wins this one at least 40-20 maybe.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Curry's going to have enough of a fire to score some points, but I do believe Oak Grove carries this one by at least 2 touchdowns, probably 3. Then we got Dora coming up against Corner.
Yeah, these are 2 programs coming off great wins. They both went on the road to get these wins in pretty hard environments. This is a huge rivalry between the 2. You know, everybody always says something about Jasper Dora or Jasper Cordova or something like that. Jasper Dora is a pretty significant rivalry, but nothing like Dora Corner. I mean, that is a county line rivalry, and it's always a tough ball game for each team. I believe Corner got it done last year. Chavis is coming off 2 straight wins. I got to see Corner last week, and that's a daggum good ball team. So they've got Dora at home. I want to say with that home field advantage, they've got at least a 7-point advantage that way. So I'm going to go with Corner close, and it may be like 17-14, something like that.
Yeah, I'm with the game Corner had last week. I'm thinking, and as good as Dora is or has a potential to be, I know they're on the road. I'm thinking this one goes to overtime. I'm calling it now. I think they go to overtime. You got a 14-17 finish, and it could go either way.
Yeah. So I mean, Corner's got Gavin Brown, their running back, and he actually plays Wildcat quarterback. He threw a touchdown last week too. But he had 3 touchdowns rushing. He had over 200 all-purpose yards. I counted 194 yards. Apparently, somebody got in the 300s on all-purpose yards, but I only counted 194 rushing yards because I counted losses and stuff like that too. So,
yeah.
But he had a lot. Man, needless to say that.
Oh yeah, that's a bunch. Then we got, how do you pronounce this one? Winona,
yeah.
Going against Jasper.
You know, Winona is they're a hit or miss team. You know, they're really good or they're not. Last year, the only game I got to see them in was against Pleasant Grove, the eventual state champion, and Pleasant Grove just blew them out of the water. So going off that point and knowing that Jasper's coming off the Fairfield win and Winona is kind of struggling a little bit this year, I don't know who wins in this ball game. It may be highly competitive, but I think with Spencer back, they get on the road here and they beat Winona too.
Go ahead.
I'm not putting their win total above 4 right now. They got to show me something special. But I will say it's at least a 3 or 4 win total, and one of the games is Winona.
Yeah, I think you're right. You know, you mentioned the quarterback for Jasper being back. I think that's the motivation they need, and I think they pick up this win. But guys, we're going to take another short little commercial break, and we'll be right back with Game of the Week.
How y'all doing? It's nice today. Beautiful night. Nice walk. It's warm today. Warm yesterday. Even warmer today. Stay classy. Back to y'all guys at the Yellowhammer Football Podcast Station.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Yellowhammer Football Podcast here on the Lotus Sports Network. Again, I am Colonel, he is Catfish, and this is the Game of the Week. Guys, we got Carbon Hill going to Oakman.
Oh, yeah. This is a pretty close to home. Being in Jasper, you hear a lot about Oakman. You hear a lot about Carbon Hill. They're not far from each other, maybe 20 minutes, if not closer.
Yeah.
And it's two programs. Oakman started off with a loss. Carbon Hill's sitting here at 0-3. It's two programs that they've got extremely talented rosters, though they're pretty young. Oakman's got a couple boys back. Carbon Hill's got a couple back that are upperclassmen that are real talented, but they just hadn't been able to seem to put it all together. I believe Oakman being at home, Coach Ryan Hall have his boys ready. I do believe Mark Cochran wants this in a lot because it's so close to home.
For sure.
It's just going to be an extremely difficult ball game for both teams, and I'm excited to see it. I mean, I really am.
Yeah, I think Oakman being at home is going to be, I think, what gets them a win. Because Carbon Hill is going to play really hard. Like you mentioned, them not being that far away from each other, I think that's going to motivate them to try to get this win. But I think Oakman comes out on top.
No doubt, yeah.
Well, guys, that was the game of the week. We want to thank everybody for listening. Catfish, you got anything you want to say before we wrap it up?
Yeah, we just want to pay our respects to all those who passed 9/11. We also want to get everybody out to games this Friday. Like we want to see everybody out there. So share this video with anybody you can. Get them excited about Alabama high school football, especially in our area. That way these boys can have a bigger stage to shine on. And it'll be a great experience for anybody. And you got to root for your hometown for sure.
That's right. Yeah, that's right, guys. I mean, just, go to your local high school football game, help spread the word of this show, tag us in pictures or, whatever you can do, guys. We'll put it on the show, give you a shout out. Yeah. And, like I said, you can find the show anywhere you find your favorite podcast, audio wise. Guys, we hope that we're part of that favorite group. You can check out the video show on YouTube and Spotify. Like I said, man, like and share it. Tell your friends, tell your friends' friends, tell family members, whoever you know. Let them know about the Yellowhammer Football Podcast and Loaded Sports Network. But, guys, that's going to do it for the Colonel and Catfish. We'll see you next week.